You know George Bernard Shaw, right? He's such a luminary in the field of literature. He had once said that the reasonable man tries to adapt himself to the world, and the unreasonable man tries to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. Then in 1967, the message was something that Alokda said: men, countries, continents, the choice is imperative, truth or the abyss. At some point, this line has been drawn. One side is truth, the other side is abyss. Men, from the smallest unit to the highest, biggest unit, you have to make the choice. Then in 1970, her message was, the world is preparing for a big change. Will you help? Very simple messages, but very potent. She's not asking you, will you help? She's saying, do help. It seems like it's do help, otherwise there's the abyss and the truth.
We have Lopa Mukherjee. She's a writer, a teacher, and psycho-spiritual workshop facilitator. She teaches Indian culture and Sri Aurobindo's works. She has conducted workshops and has done presentations on a variety of themes in several organizations. Her workshops have been on drama therapy, dream work, inner journeys, and thresholds, emotional intelligence, and so on. Her historical fiction, The Soul of India, was inspired by Sri Aurobindo's first dream. It shows how the three countries are one in a deeper sense and can realize it externally. Her other books include cultural short stories and journeys into the spiritual and occult realms. She was educated in the ashram school in Pondicherry and did her master's in psychology at CIIS San Francisco. Welcome, Lopa. So happy to have you here.
Okay, so this morning we got to know about the new world that is trying to be born, and we are all the midwives. Men, women, doesn't matter. We are all midwives who are going to help this new world to be born and be part of this new world. So it's a very special journey we are going through. So to start with, let's do a little bit of a visualization meditation. You know the flood, how it came, it's a whole body of water, and water is very powerful. It's fluid, it takes any shape you can give it, and yet it is very powerful when it starts flowing. Actually, 1 cubic meter of water weighs 1 ton. So it can break bridges, it can break the old creation and create something new, or at least clear the ground for a new creation. So we'll try to invoke the power of water, but it won't be a flood that takes us from one end to another on the horizontal plane. Okay, it's like a displacement that happened in the previous creations. This time we'll allow water to come from above and cleanse us. Okay, so we'll use the power of water to start with to cleanse. And water is one of the elements. So we'll use water as the representative of the elemental world. Okay, so let's close our eyes. Close your eyes and be very centered within. And drop into fluidity, like water. Okay, something that can take any shape, that can take unbounded shapes. So it can expand like steam, and it can collapse into ice. Something really free. And once you have become water, we'll take a bath, a rain bath. And it's going to start with 1 drop of rain. So imagine 1 drop of rain falling on the top of your head, the place we call Brahma Randhra. There is a crack in our head that allows elements to drop in. And we'll allow that drop of water. It's cold, it's liquid, it's very comfortable. And it flows through that crack and starts flowing down the head. But as it flows, it distributes around the brain. around the skull. It takes up all the space. It takes that coolness, just comes down very gently. It's coming down your head. Maybe you can imagine it to be moonlight, blue, white, and cold and comfortable and cleansing. Imagine getting rid of all the memories you have stored up, all the judgments that were meted out to you, that you perhaps gave to others. All the baggage is going away from your head. And let it come down, touch your face, your eyes, ears, nose, mouth, the throat. Now, all that water drop is funneling through your throat, and while it passes through your throat, it is cleansing your voice center. And now, whatever you will speak will be beautiful, it will be cleansed, it will belong to the new creation. And let the water come down through your chest. It touches your heart, it cleanses your heart. You've gotten rid of fear, illusions, prejudices, everything that cramped you. All those shadows are cleared because this wonderful rain is coming down your heart and through your lungs and through your arms. Let the water flow. And then it'll flow through your abdominal cavity. It'll touch every organ. And while it touches the organs, it's getting transformed. All the organs are getting transformed by this very pure touch of the water. And it comes down, it touches the womb, it touches the lower parts, touches the Mooladhara, the base. And from there it splits into your two legs, those that keep you upright, take you places. And down your thighs, it touches the knee, down your calf, it touches the feet, every toe it touches, and while it reaches the soul, it doesn't stop there. It goes down from your soul, touches the earth, and from the earth, as though you were a tree, it sprouts roots, and the water droplets continue down the roots, and it touches everyone that's around you. The roots touch each other, and somehow they get connected. And once that connection is made, it's like a connection of electricity. Suddenly you feel someone else's life coursing through your veins. And this cleansing is the cleansing of Adhibhautika, the world of elements. Now gather yourself back and be ready for the second cleansing. And this time, imagine a drop of honey. Again, entering from that crack, the Brahma Randhra. And honey is golden. It's like compact gold dust, pollen compacted. It is sweet, it is viscous, and it has a glow, an afterglow and a glow within. It doesn't need external light to illuminate. So allow that light. You know, wisdom knowledge in India is called Madhu Vidya, the knowledge of honey. So let that wisdom now come down through honey. And honey will percolate just like water did. So let it come down your brain, illuminate, remove ignorance, remove unconsciousness, pettiness, fear, and come down, touch every organ of your face, down your throat, cleansing your voice center, down your lungs and your heart. And it is going to remove all emotions that were holding you back, all emotions that belong to the past world. And it's going to give you a new heart and new arms as it flows down the arms. And this time, let the honey flow out of your fingers like drops of light. No, they're dripping out of your fingers. They're falling on the ground, and they have a life on their own. They start trickling down on the ground and finding each other. All people of goodwill who have honey dripping out of them will find each other. And let the honey come down your chest, your abdominal cavity, touching all the major organs and down your legs, making you very strong, extremely ready for this new creation. And the color that Mother saw of this new creation, the new body, was the color of pink honey. So it was pale pink with a little bit of orange and gold, like the inner skin of the Matri Mandir. So now you have such a beautiful pink body. As Sri Aurobindo says, the body of the new species, which we can call the superhuman. And down your souls, let the honey fall off your souls, drip down, again find the earth below you and transform the earth itself. Like whoever is on the earth, whether they know it or not, is getting transformed because you are channeling this honey. And this honey came from the gods. So the source is God, so we call it Adhi Daivika. And now that you are full of honey and cleansed by rain, you will have a body of the Adhyatmika. The Atman will send down his force into you, his light. So this time we'll do the same cleansing, which is Abhisheka, but with a drop of light. And this drop of light could be a wave, could be a photon, a particle. As soon as it comes down, it becomes multiple particles. And slowly it percolates down your head. It's like those dusts, you see dust mites in a shaft of light in their Brownian motion. So little particles of light are just happy to be in you. They are dancing wherever they can find any space. So you fill yourself with these light, these little children of light, atoms of light. Come down, let them touch your eyes and nose and ears and throat. This light is coming down your chest. It's illumining your heart, going to your arms, and you're flicking the lights, little droplets of light out of you from your fingers. And then it comes down your abdomen. Light is more like gas. We started with liquid and then we went to a sort of semi-solid. And now we are in this realm of gas, which is light and which is really light. Like its weight is weightless. It's light for two reasons. And you are becoming light. While you let the light flow down you, down your legs, you have no more weight. So you can fly wherever you like. You're not bound to gravity, which means you're not bound to this world order. You can fly. And I would want you to remain in that state of flight. You just launch yourself, because when the supramental vessel will leave, it may not be a ship anymore. It may be a plane, which is also flying. And while we fly on this plane with maybe very luminous beings at the cockpit, Mother, Sri Aurobindo, and we are all passengers in this plane, we'll see the gods come down from heaven to meet us halfway, because now they want to be part of this new creation. So we have created such a beautiful creation that they want to participate. They are not going to remain far away as beings who are just there to inspire and guide. They want to be inspired by you. So slowly I would invite you back here with a part of you that's still flying, completely cleansed in your light body. And I want you to say what you want to take in that plane with you. What you would be happy to leave behind in this old creation, and what you want to take. Because indeed, the new creation has begun. And not today. It's happened in 1956 on 29th of February. Mother was in a meditation, in the playground meditation, and she saw this wonderful light flooding down, this golden light. And she was instrumental in opening the last door. She took a golden hammer and she struck on that golden door. It flew ajar, and the light, the supramental light, just came bouncing on earth. And it's still bouncing, it's still around, and she's reported how it's come down deeper and deeper into matter in the human body. So if you see your body is doing things, learning new ways of being that even doctors are baffled, it's because this light is playing with us. It's trying out new ways, and depending on our receptivity, it's making us the new kind of being. Because there will be a transitional being, or perhaps multiple transitional beings from the human to the Superman or superhuman. And I'm sure all of you are. And whatever experiments humans are also doing on the body, maybe some of them are inspired by the light. Maybe some are not, who knows? But right now, we will think of what we want to take with us and what we want to keep behind. And believe it, the power of an intention is like being. It's the strongest way you can transform is to make a very strong mental formation. The mother calls it like a being. It's a being. If you can really think very accurately in detail, make your aspiration very strong, powerful, it'll be like a person in front of you, and that person will be an activist for truth. And that is your creation. So make that creation of truth, that being who will act for you, who is your brainchild, and that strong intention will actually launch this new world. It'll take this new world several steps forward in the process of, maybe it's in its infancy. I would think it's already born, it's young, and it needs a lot of help to grow up, to stand up, to run, to discover. So you can open your eyes now. And you all have pen and paper. So for yourself, write down what you want to take in this new world. Really thinking that this is what you will go out. When you walk out of this room today, this is what you will have with you. And what you decide to keep have been cleansed in that rain, the honey and the light. They've been taken out of you. And really make this very conscious, serious intention, and it will happen. You can think in details, okay? It's not just abstractions like you want to leave fear. Think in real, very great details like you want to leave, let's say, bad eyesight. I mean, just an example. Or you want to leave some institutions behind. Like no more schools, for example, like Alokda sort of touched upon, no? Even those, like you don't personally want to go to school anymore. You want to reinvent learning, progressing. So just go wild with your thoughts, and the wilder the better, because this is what creates the new creation. So for now, we get back to some reading, and then you can go back to the reflections. We'll do it in a little different way, but you can come back to this. Okay, so just one thing that I was reminded of, you know George Bernard Shaw, right? He's such a luminary in the field of literature. He had once said that the reasonable man tries to adapt himself to the world, and the unreasonable man tries to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. Yeah. So do be unreasonable, be creative, And as you put your power behind the thought, it will happen. It will have a life on its own and it will multiply. And at some day you will see it really getting a body and you'll say, oh, I had thought of it there. Somehow it happened. I didn't even communicate, but because it went into the sphere of thoughts, no, there is a stratosphere of thoughts that is called noosphere, which has all these thoughts. So people who are listening into that, it's like the radar, the radio waves are fine-tuned to those. We are catching those wonderful thoughts that we align to, and we are adding energy to those thoughts. Okay, so here are some thoughts that we would like to add energy to. The first one is from Oscar Wilde, and it's very relevant to a community, intentional community, anywhere in the world. He says, any map of the world that does not include utopia is not worth even glancing at, for it leaves out the one country at which humanity is always landing. Right? So it doesn't exist in the map, but you have to put it there, because otherwise it's worthless. Okay, the rest are from the mother. And a few are from her New Year messages. Like I said, in 1956, 29th of February, she had this momentous, it was an action she performed. She opened this golden door and the light came flooding in. And ever since, the New Year has been some sort of milestone event. The 31st of December night, she used to go into a meditation and she used to see the working out of the supramental force. And she used to give the message for the new year, depending on her experience of the night before. So here's some messages from the new year. This is 1961. This wonderful world of delight waiting at our gates for our call to come down upon earth. The sentence is not complete. It's just ... It's like it's waiting, this wonderful world of delight. Then in 1967, the message was something that Alokda said, men, countries, continents, the choice is imperative, truth or the abyss. At some point, this line has been drawn. One side is truth, the other side is abyss. Men, from the smallest unit to the highest, biggest unit, you have to make the choice. Then in 1970, her message was, the world is preparing for a big change. Will you help? Very simple messages, but very, very potent. She's not asking you, will you help? She's saying, do help. It seems like it's do help, otherwise there's the abyss and the truth. Then here's something from Savitri, the secret knowledge. Whatever the appearance we must bear, whatever our strong ills and present fate, when nothing we can see but drift and bail, a mighty guidance leads us still through all. And one more from Savitri. Only were safe who kept God in their hearts, courage their armor, faith their sword. They must walk, the hand ready to smite, the eye to scout, casting a javelin regard in front, heroes and soldiers of the army of light. So those who are doing Shakti, who are trying to invoke Shakti, this is what is needed, the heroism. Not just faith. The faith itself is an armor. Then there's a passage about the supramental world that Mother spoke about during her conversations. It's longer than these short passages, but it's very beautiful. So stay with me, and I'll tell you the exercise we'll do after this passage. The previous one we did for our individual self, what we want to take in this flight and what we want to leave behind in the old world. This one will be what you want to do for your community. And this community could be your clan, your family, your group. It could be your nation. It could be all of humanity. It could be all of the planet. It could be more than the planet. You choose your community, but put forth that intention. And there will be power behind that intention. So, what you want to see change, and what you want to leave behind, what you want to take forward, in which way, and just be completely creative, because it will have a manifestation at some point in time. You know, the craziest things were like touching the moon 200 years back. Jules Verne wrote those stories of under the earth, 20,000 leagues under the sea, and touching the moon, and people said this is sci-fi, you know, science fiction. Now it is not science fiction, it's not fiction, it's fact. So whatever you put out there will become fact. So here's something from the mother. It's from the 10th of July, 1957, very close to the event of the supramental descent. So people kept asking what has really happened, because no one felt it. Very sadly, mother thought after the meditation that people will be lying on the ground. They were all seated, right, on the sand, because the impact of the light was so strong, and she could withhold the impact because she's a very strong person. But she thought all the others would be lying, they would need help, and everyone was sitting like nothing happened. And she said, "Did you feel anything?" "No, it was just a normal day, normal." So she said, "Oh, there's so much work to be done before people feel it." So ever since that event, she said this. So people didn't know. So they kept asking her, what happened? What really happened? So here's one thing they asked her, what really happened that day? So she's saying, what has happened, the really new thing, is that a new world is born, born, born. 3 times in the present sense, is born. It is not the old one transforming itself. It is a new world which is born. And we are right now in the midst of this period of transition where the two are entangled, where the other still persists, all powerful and entirely dominating the ordinary consciousness, but where the new one is quietly slipping in, still very modest, unnoticed to the extent that outwardly it doesn't disturb anything very much for the time being. And that in the consciousness of most people, it is even altogether imperceptible. And yet, it is working, growing, until it is strong enough to assert itself visibly. So many years have passed since 1957 when she's saying this. So many things are really becoming visible now. I'm sure in our experiences, we are seeing things that are visible. And more people are getting conscious of the fact that there is a change around. They may not really be able to say this is the change, but they know there's something that's changing, that's breaking the shell, the shell that we were in this little eggshell that we are in. It's breaking. Something wants to fly. You know how the fledgling, it keeps knocking on the shell, and then it cracks it one day, and then it flies out. In the supramental creation, there will no longer be any religions. The whole life will be the expression, the flowering into forms of the divine unity manifesting in the world. And there will no longer be what men call now gods. These great divine beings themselves will be able to participate in the new creation. But to do so, they will have to put on what we would call the supramental substance on earth. And if some of them choose to remain in their world as they are, if they decide not to manifest physically, their relation with the beings of a supramental earth will be a relation of friends, collaborators, equals, for the highest divine essence will be manifested in the beings of the new supramental world on earth. When the physical substance is supramentalized, to incarnate on earth will no longer be a cause of inferiority. Quite the contrary. It will give a plenitude which cannot be obtained otherwise. But all this is in the future. It is a future which has begun, but which will take some time to be realized integrally. Meanwhile, We are in a very special situation, extremely special, without precedent. We are now witnessing the birth of a new world. It is very young, very weak, not in its essence, but in its outer manifestation, not yet recognized, not even felt, denied by the majority. But it is here. It is here, making an effort to grow, absolutely sure of the result. But the road to it is a completely new road which has never before been traced out. Nobody has gone there, nobody has done that. It is a beginning, a universal beginning. So it is an absolutely unexpected and unpredictable adventure. There are people who love adventure. It is these I call, and I tell them, I invite you to the great adventure. It is not a question of repeating spiritually what others have done before us, for our adventure begins beyond that. It is a question of a new creation, entirely new, with all the unforeseen events, the risks, the hazards it entails, a real adventure whose goal is certain victory, but the road to which is unknown and must be traced out step by step in the unexplored. Something that has never been in this present universe and that will never be again in the same way. If that interests you, well, let us embark. What will happen to you tomorrow? I have no idea. One must put aside all that has been foreseen, all that has been devised, all that has been constructed, and then set off walking into the unknown. And come what may. That's what. And come what may. She ends in that. So, this is the call to the new creation. And as we did the previous exercise of embarking on this new journey, I now want us to do the experience for us, not just for the individual Atman, the individual soul, but what you would like to see in your society. Those changes, make a wish list. Like from childhood, we have made compromises. Right? As children, we may have been idealists that this would have been nice if the world were such and such. And then slowly people say, but that's not how the world is. You have to live, you have to be practical. So now remove that bit, those prejudices that have been stuffed into you. Go back to being that idealist and bring forward those ideals. Because the time is ripe for those ideals to manifest. So I would say do this individually for another 7 minutes. Okay, and then form groups to discuss what you have thought of. And we could form groups of 4. Then each will get some chance to talk about what you've written. That sounds good? What you would like to take forward for your community and leave behind for your community. And this community could be all of humanity. Or all of the planet also. Those who have finished reflecting on their own, if you want to come together and form groups to discuss, it really helps to know what others are thinking, to form, to reinforce each other's ideals. So I just want to clarify one thing because it came up in one of the groups. When I said let go, leave behind, doesn't mean that you keep it for the humans who are not coming into the new world. Because there will be some set of humans who are not going to come. There'll be a whole range. Like when animals became humans, not all animals became humans. So there will be humans in different stages of growth. So it's not that you're going to leave it for them to partake of. It's for us to let go what we want to let go. Okay. Yeah, not a gift for them and it's a negative gift. No, it's just that we want to let it go. If you can transform, great. Transform it, take it along, that ability or whatever you want to transform. If you can't transform, let go. But not in particular for those other humans who are still in the old world. Yeah, thank you so much. Were you able to exchange, cross pollinate, look at each other's ideas? All right. So, yeah. So, this exercise was to put the intention out there. And since you've heard from each other, maybe you've had ideas that you hadn't thought of. And also, it gave you the strength to know that you're not alone. Right? So, if you want to do some work really which is out of this world but belongs to some new world, as they say, it's out of the world idea, you have people to reach out to. That you need support, psychological support, or thought support, or any other support. You have your tribe, your community. So you've already formed this sort of core group and you've been journeying together in Shakti Kumbh for so many days. You would have formed this group, just launch yourself. The new world is born, and it needs you. So go ahead.
You know, you read that text of the mother that said,
Yes.
like, the call to adventure is here,
Yes.
and whoever wants to kind of get on, get on.
Huh.
But no one has ever charted this territory before. So we don't know what is, in that sense, what this
Yes.
new creation has. So how do we keep lighting that lamp, knowing that at least it's on the right path?
That's why you do step by step in detail. That every step you take and you find that, oh, that's the right thing to do, you hold on to it and keep looking for the next step. I think she says also, we have to walk step by step. So we can't see far, but we can see that one step. And once we have stood on solid ground, we can know that that was the right step. And then you think of the next step. So it's not for people who have planned things before and there's this big blue chart or whatever
Yeah.
ahead. It's for people who are really thinking on their feet. Exactly, like one step, think on the feet, and then you do the next step. Because things may change by the time you have taken that one step. Who knows? This is the new creation, right? It doesn't follow the old laws. The new laws may be so fluid, so dynamic that you have to be responding to it really with that sort of energy.
One of us had the thought that, when it means with leaving behind things, we actually don't want to leave behind bad things for what's left behind because then they have to cope with it. So, how about leaving actually behind also very, very good things, for the world that's left behind? We are moving forward. And then it was the thing of, do we really need to take anything with us? Because if we trust in Ma and she has created this world, then this world will be. Only thing is maybe vigilance needs to be there because just as you have the 4 good forces coming, then the 4 asuric forces also come in, so you'll be vigilant that it doesn't flip the other way. But it's one thing, I think if we do the sadhana, if we do this thing and have the sincerity and the trust, it always blossoms. I mean, I always have this example of you had the rock and the mineral kingdom, and then suddenly this one day, a beautiful crystal morphs out. I mean, you look at a crystal and you look at a rock, you don't see the relationship. And then you have the whole plant kingdom, and then suddenly there's a very beautiful flower. I mean, it was just like a leap in consciousness that's, a flower blossomed. And maybe this is the blossoming which is meant to happen, and we just have to, do the sadhana, trust and be on the right, just be vigilant all the time of not falling on this side or that side. I mean, if we can keep our thing, it will happen.
I think what you said was right when you said you need vigilance, that itself, and you're doing sadhana, it actually involves a whole lot of qualities that you're taking with you. Yes, so thank you all for participating, and I know that whatever you thought will blossom sometime. Maybe really quick, or it'll take time, but now you're with each other and you help each other work out these intentions that you have made today. And you'll keep making next, who knows, for all your life you'll make intentions.